Hello and welcome to PC Politics, Real, Raw, and Relevant, brought to you by Spectacular Magazine. I'm Phyllis Coley, CEO and publisher of Spectacular Magazine. You know, it's been said that all politics is local. Well, basically what that means is that politicians successfully and directly tie themselves in to be sure that they have the ability to understand and influence issues of the issues of their constituents and their community. This show is going to talk with the politicians, we're going to talk with the constituents, we're going to talk with the voter, and we're going to talk about issues. Today, my guest is Durham County Commissioner Wendy Jacobs. Welcome to PC Politics.
Well, thank you so much for having me, Phyllis.
Well, you know, when I say, as a candidate, but you're a candidate for re-election.
That's right. That's right.
So, if you will, tell our viewers a little bit about you.
So I am chair of the Durham County Board of Commissioners. I'm in my 8th year in office and my 2nd term, and I absolutely love serving our community, serving you as a Durham County Commissioner.
Are you a Durham County? Are you originally from Durham?
I am not. I grew up in New Jersey, but I have basically been in Durham for about 40 years.
So we call you a resident by now.
Yes. I've been here a long time. Yes.
So I want to get into really some of the things that are happening in our community. And right now, McDougald Terrace and what's happening with our housing communities are very much an issue. I recognize and understand that Durham Housing Authority does not report to the county commissioners, but how has this issue impacted the commissioners, and what are you guys doing about it?
Right, well, absolutely. Mm-hmm. A crisis like McDougald Terrace is our collective responsibility as a community. And I have been very involved with this issue since the very beginning, doing whatever I can to make sure that county services are involved and supporting the city and the Durham Housing Authority. So that means our social services staff, our public health staff, our emergency management staff, and Alliance Health, our mental health providers, because we have people that have medications, our seniors who need to be checked on, our young children. People are having a lot of stress. Yes. There's a need for mental health support. So we can bring to bear the resources that the county has to support the residents of McDougald Terrace.
Will the mental health services be for adults and youth?
Absolutely, for everybody.
So
yes.
Talk about some of the things and initiatives that you have introduced, and not just introduced, because it's not just about introducing,
right.
but it's implementing. Could you talk about a few of those?
Well, I'm really proud that I am somebody who doesn't just talk about the issues, but that I get things done. And I like to bring people together to collectively solve the problems in our community. So my first term, I was the person who really led the effort to create Durham's first sports commission, which I'm very proud of. This term, I've been leading on many issues as chair of my board, but one of the issues that I'm really proud of is that we are creating Durham's first aging plan. We have the fastest growing segment of our population as our seniors. They are just as vulnerable as our young children, and we have to figure out a way to meet the needs of our seniors. We currently have over 400 people on a waiting list for Meals on Wheels. I've led the effort for the city and the county to be designated an age-friendly community by AARP and the World Health Organization, and this is in process right now. I'm so excited. Our aging plan is going to be launched in the next few months, and then it's going to be up to all of us to implement it. And I want to see this through in my next term as county commissioner. I've also been a huge champion of our Durham pre-K program to provide universal access to high quality pre-K for all of our children to address our child poverty rate. I've been championing our affordable housing projects in downtown Durham, and under my leadership, the county has helped directly create more than 2,500 good-paying jobs at diverse skill and education levels, and more than $1.5 billion worth of investment in our tax base, which pays for our schools and essential county services.
You mentioned affordable housing, and that actually was going to be my next thing. How what are we doing, what is the county and the county commissioners doing to bring about affordable housing? And especially in those areas that are considered to be low income and predominantly Black.
Right. So first of all, we are involved in a very innovative public-private partnership to build affordable housing on 2 surface parking lots in downtown Durham. We'll create more than 300 units that will be available to not only low-income residents, but also our teachers, our law enforcement staff, our librarians, our social workers. These are people who are also struggling with affordable housing. So that is, the county is taking the lead on that. And some other approaches we're taking is, again, related to our seniors. This is a racial disparity issue. Many of our seniors are single Black women who are living in poverty, but they own their own homes. So we are funding a housing repair collaborative, because we need to make sure that the way people stay in their homes is by putting in handicap ramps, helping to pay for repairs, and also addressing some of the high taxes that are disproportionately affecting people on low incomes.
And then what about crime? What are we doing toward crime?
So we have to understand that we have to address the root causes of crime, which are tied into racial and economic historic disparities and hopelessness, despair, making sure that everyone in our community is connected to and prepared for a good paying job so they can support themselves and their families, connected to resources around mental health, substance misuse. So that's the long-term investments we have to create. But in the short term, it is focusing on the really very small number of people that are involved in violent crime, and I fully support the work that our sheriff is doing to address this and the way that he is cooperating with the police department and state and federal law enforcement. So we have to keep the focus on that and getting guns off of our street. I don't know if many people realize that last year 800 guns were stolen from unlocked cars and people who did not secure their guns in their homes. So there are a lot of things that we can do to keep guns out of the wrong hands of people in our community.
Wow, that is, and that's really interesting. So now with our schools, recently I understand that there's legislation that's coming down, or that folk in Washington are talking about changing the school lunch programs. Now, for so many of our youth, a lot of times the only meals that they get are at school. Now, if that's going to just be fries and hamburgers and other things, does Durham have to participate? I'm just not knowing how this is working. Going to work.
Right. So this is also an issue that I'm really involved with. Our board, under my leadership, we passed resolutions condemning the changes to the SNAP program and also the federal definition of poverty, which is really heinous, and it will impact the eligibility for our school lunch and free breakfast. Right now we have free breakfast also. One of the things that we are working on is really exciting, and again, it's about systems change and how we address food insecurity, and that is to create a central kitchen in Durham. We are doing a study on this right now with the city, the county, Durham Public Schools, Duke, Blue Cross Blue Shield, to look at creating a central kitchen in Durham where we can support our farmers and our local food economy and be able to prepare fresh, delicious, healthy local food that will be supplied to our schools, to our seniors, to our daycare centers, and eligible for families to get also. And this is one of the exciting ways that we are looking at how we provide healthy, delicious food to people in our community.
And I really hope that program moves forward. That sounds awesome. That really sounds awesome. Where are we? We're not hearing a lot now about ICE, about coming in and with our undocumented people here. Is that still as much of a problem as it was when, maybe 6 months ago when everybody was talking about it?
Right. No, it still is a very big problem. I'm vice chair of our social services board, And I'm also involved with our Durham pre-K, and we're finding that mothers are afraid to come and sign their children up for preschool. Programs that their children are eligible for. They're afraid to leave their homes to go to medical appointments or to come to their children's schools. There's still pervasive fear in our community, so we have to work really hard at making sure that all of our families feel safe and welcome and included. I recently signed a letter, and I believe we were the first county in North Carolina to do this. The Trump administration, they made an executive order saying that every individual government has to explicitly say that they welcome and allow refugees in our community. I was contacted by World Relief that we needed to provide this letter, and our board approved that letter by me within a week.
So are you saying, I'm sorry, that we are welcoming or we're not welcoming?
That we are welcoming. We have to, I wrote a letter to the Trump administration saying explicitly that refugees are welcome into our community. This just happened within the last 6 weeks. So there is still an ongoing attack against immigrants and refugees in our communities, and I will continue to stand up for our refugees and immigrant families in our community.
You just talked to families. Tell us about yours.
So I have 3 children, Caleb, Eliza, and Zach. They all are graduates of Durham Public Schools, and my son is a graduate student at Penn State in engineering, getting a PhD. My daughter is in a 2L in law school at Berkeley, and my youngest son, Zach, just graduated from William & Mary, and he works for the Community Empowerment Fund in Chapel Hill as a Vista AmeriCorps fellow working with homeless people, workforce development. My husband is a primary care provider named Dr. Michael Meredith, who a lot of people know because he takes care of a lot of people in our community and is a really beloved physician. So we are all just very involved in our community and love Durham.
Well, thank you so much. Let's talk. And one thing I really need people to understand is that this is not just the primary for the Durham County Commissioner race. This is it.
This is the election.
Okay,
this
right.
This is the election because we have many Democrats running for 5 seats, but there are no Republicans running. So the primary will be the deciding election. And so I hope that the people in our community will continue to allow me the honor and privilege of serving you as your Durham County Commissioner. I love this job. I love working as hard as I can every day with people all across our community to make Durham a better place to live for everyone.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming to visit with me.
Thank you for having me.
I have been, we've been talking with Durham County Commissioner Wendy Jacobs, who is up for re-election for that seat. I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch with us today and to be with us with PC Politics, real, raw, and relevant. I'm your host, Phyllis Coley, and until next time, see ya.
Spectacular Magazine. We on the scene.